Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Monkey, and we're back with another fucking video. I guess we're just gonna get right into it. Because I've been sitting on this one for ages, and my last 3 videos didn't save, and my last 4 audio recordings didn't save. I had Abandoned Series Part 3 recorded, I had Abandoned Series Part 4 recorded, I had a little bit of Part 5 recorded, and I had some commentary gameplay recorded, and none of those got saved because my phone geeked out and decided to shut off on me. I dropped my phone, and it's been doing the typical iPhone garbage where it just, hey, I don't want to work today, so, it just turns off. But today's topic will be a little bit brief, and a little bit of a shorter video today, coming out at only 9 minutes today, folks. Damn, so just the other day, actually, it was on like the 7th, I believe, of February. Valentine's Day was just yesterday, so I hope you had a good Valentine's Day. Hopefully you were loved by your lover or love yourself, because that's all we can do in this ever so growing world. But on to the video. I overheard a gentleman when I walked into this KFC, and him and this elderly woman were speaking on their childhoods in the 60s or their days after school and college in the 60s and 70s, and when they settled down to have a family in the 80s, and then seeing America change in the 90s, early thousands, and now we're in the 10s, now we're halfway through the 20s, almost to the 30s. And what this gentleman was talking about really just resonated with me, and I really wish that my fucking videos saved, because there were some political things that he was talking about. I'm not going to talk on that. There was a lot of money talk. I'm not going to speak on that. A majority of what he was saying was how he said nowadays, or the elderly lady, she was African American. She had a very thick Southern accent. I lived down here in the South. She was an elderly African American woman, if that matters, and the gentleman was a taller Caucasian individual, and he was definitely military, because he had the military. He had a really worn out American flag hat on, with shirt, and his shirt had an American flag on it, and he was just wearing your everyday Levi jeans and some nice loafers, just coming in to munch on some chicken and some potatoes and some slaw with a Coke, because that's what he got. This gentleman was speaking on how it seems now, he said, there doesn't seem to be any sort of community. He said, back in my day, the country used to be more community-based. You'd move into your house. He said, hell, I remember moving into my house. I vaguely remember this too. He said, hell, I moved into my house and my wife wasn't there, and neither were either of my boys. He said, my neighbors came over and helped me out with my house. He said, they helped me move my couch, they helped me move the refrigerator, they helped me they helped me move this, helped me move that. They even helped me set things up inside. He said, but it just got to the point where I just wanted to do that alone. He's like, 'cause it's a bit weird having them over, seeing the inside of your house, how you're going to have it laid out. And he said, after that, he said, I took him out to dinner for a few days. He's like, and then every now and then, he's like, they'd invite me over to sit on the porch and have a chat with them and get to know each other. And we were just sitting on the porch having a conversation, drinking tea, drinking coffee. And the elderly African-American lady spewed in as well. She was like, yeah. She was like, I remember that time too. She's like, but it's changed now. She said, there ain't no communities now. She said, there is no... I'm not going to try to mimic her voice or be rude. She was just saying how... shoulder pop, excuse me. She was just saying how it doesn't really seem like there's a sense of community in the States anymore. How it's more just selfishness. A majority of the individuals are selfish, only care about themselves, only want to fill up their pockets, and how the businesses that we support fill up other pockets. And then she was also saying how she misses... I forget where she said she grew up, but she said where she grew up, there was a big community garden that everybody could go to, and you would take a few potatoes, then you would plant a few potatoes, and you'd take some onions and you'd plant some onions, and you'd take a tree and you'd plant a tree, and then you'd sit there and mingle and converse with the individuals that were there, and the families were there, and you would sit there and talk to people. And then the other thing she kept bringing up too, she's like, we didn't have these when I'm recording on a phone. She's like, we didn't have them dadgum things back then. And the gentleman chimed in. He's like, oh, hell no. And he's like, I think the world was a better place. He's like, I think it was a better place. And then the lady's like, yeah, now you got people selling their bodies on there, and people are doing this and doing that. And dude, they just like, I only had so much time to sit there and listen to the conversation because I had to get the order out. I was getting a notification to like leave. It's like, hey, we've noticed you've picked up the order for DoorDash, but you're not like en route. Is there a problem? And I clicked no. So I left the store, and I tried to take more notes in my phone. I tried to find them, but I only wrote like one note. I just wrote how, I think I wrote back in 60s and 70s, America was more community-based, and it was less about money and more about like loving your neighbor and loving yourself. Kind of back when like the hippie stage of America hit in. I'm not very fond of American history, which is kind of sad being in America, and I don't really know the history of my own country, so I've been trying to just like binge watch videos back then from like, or read books or find something to read from that time, because to an extent they had a point. I moved into this house, and I think yesterday was the longest conversation I've had with my fucking neighbors since the 2 years that I've been here. Not to get off topic, but we were just talking about, I was just checking to make sure he was all right, because there was 5 police cars and an ambulance that were sitting outside my car at my house. And some dude had his truck like pulled halfway up the driveway. And I was like, oh, I'm just making sure that like y'all are okay. Woo, stutter. I'm just making sure that y'all are all right. Nothing happened to none of y'all. He's like, oh yeah, nothing happened to us. But it just kind of sat there and resonated with me. I had to drive down to my sister's house to house sit and dog sit. And I just sat there and I thought about that. How are we community based? If you watch, just let me know in the comments down below. Are we more community based here in the States, or are we just selfish and only thinking about ourselves and want money? Some places you go, it's like that, and some places you go, it's got a heavy community base. So I can understand where they're coming from to an extent, but also that whole like, and I guess I'll kind of go against the grain with what they were saying. It's not all that it's not community based. Does that make sense? Like there's a lot of places you go to and they're selling like Girl Scout cookies on one area, and they got hunting set up, and people bring their horses and teach kids to like lasso horses, and you got like people selling their homemade cast iron pans, and you got Joe Schmo over here selling his fucking grandma's knitted beanies. So, like, I guess it just depends on where you live, on if it's community-based or not. But I guess that might just be, like, the little topic of the video is... Actually, it's going to be, like, he made me think really hard. He blew my mind, something like that. It's going to be a little cheesy, a little corny. But this is just top of my head when I woke up this morning. Because I was going through my iPhone notes, and I was like, yo, like, I need to get a video out since nothing saved. Everything got corrupted. But... do you think we are community-based here in the States, or are we all just selfishly trying to pull together funds? I obviously understand the funds, like you got to support yourself and everything, but do you think that elderly women and the man were truthful in saying that it was more of a community-based back in the day? Let me know down below. Monkey out. Stay safe out there. I love y'all.